James catches, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound, Bosch. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang!
This is caught. Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable!
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
We have finally made it. We have NFL football this week, whether you're looking forward to the Thursday night slate between the Lions and the Chiefs, whether you're looking forward to the big Sunday slate, or if you're looking forward to that amazing Monday night matchup between the Bills and the Jets. Every single NFL team will be playing a meaningful game of football this week. We've waited so long since the Super Bowl ended to get some NFL football back. We're finally here. We had some great football this past weekend in college, but nothing beats the NFL, and we are finally back this week. We have plenty to talk about. It's just me here today. I'll be filing out my playoff predictions. I'm going to give you the top 7 seeds in each conference. I'll also kind of run through the playoffs a little bit and then give you my AFC and NFC championship games, the Super Bowl, the winner, the awards. There's so much to get into here today. We're going to look back on this come season end, see how stupid I was or how smart I was. But first I want to talk about, before we get into the meat and potatoes, let's talk some college football because I don't know about you, but I'm a huge college football fan, and it was back finally this past Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it's still going on. The Clemson and Duke plays tonight. But week 1 in college football is always it's a bittersweet time because college football is back, but you also have a lot of blowout games. Georgia played a scrub, Tennessee Martin. Michigan played East Carolina. That was a 30-point spread. Ohio State played Indiana. That was a 30-point spread. Alabama played Middle Tennessee. That was a 42-point spread. So the top 4 teams to start the season had cupcakes. And Ohio State did struggle against Indiana, but it was a cupcake game. Not for number 5 LSU, though, and I think that's what we'll start here. LSU came into the season with their highest expectations since 2019 with Joe Burrow. And even then, I don't know if the expectations were as high as this year. Because if you recall, before the 2019 season starts, LSU is ranked 6th. LSU is ranked 5th. This is the highest LSU's been ranked in a preseason poll in a long time. And they had all the weapons, right? You lost Keyshawn Boutte going to the draft to New England Patriots. But you still had Jaden Daniels, who's an amazing dual-threat quarterback. Brian Kelly's bringing in a good defense, as he always does. The receivers, the options for them to throw to, Mason Taylor as the tight end. This looked like an LSU team that even if they don't even make the conference championship game, they could still make the playoff. And Florida State, on the other side, has their highest expectations entering a season, and again, in a while, that I for one, think Florida State or Clemson, whoever wins the ACC, is going to get to the college football playoff. It's not a hot take. But I think Florida State slightly better right now than Clemson. We haven't seen Clemson yet. And I think Cade Klubnik for Clemson is going to be a star. But Florida State, the defensive line, LSU started out that game in 2 plays, and they were at the 5-yard line. They got 0 points on that drive. That Florida State defensive line was wreaking havoc. Florida State went into the locker room down 3. They steamrolled LSU in the second half. It was 45-17. LSU got a garbage time touchdown. The second half was a blowout. Florida State dominated the game. Mike Norvell dominated the game for Florida State. I'm interested to see when the polls come out tomorrow where Florida State's going to be ranked. If it was up to me, I would probably put them at 4 or 5. I'm interested to see what they do with Ohio State because they struggled a little bit. If it was up to me, I would put Florida State at 4, move Bama back at 5, and put LSU around 9, 10. But for this Florida State team, Jordan Travis, Benson running the football, Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson catching the football, an amazing defensive line led by potential top 10 pick Jared Verse, Mike Norvell, experienced head football coach. This is a team that I could see going undefeated this year. This, again, they played LSU. It's early in the season still. But this has a breakout kind of sentiment that if Keon Coleman can be this breakout guy, Jordan Travis can put himself in the hierarchy of quarterbacks if he's not already there. This Florida State team, in a weak conference in the ACC, in a very weak conference where you're not having to play LSU every single week, they have Clemson coming up on September the 23rd. That's the big game, right? But besides from that Clemson game, they don't play any top 25 opponents. Their next best opponent, besides from the Clemson game, might be Wake Forest or Pitt, right? But after Clemson, if they can beat Clemson, which is going to be a tough game in Death Valley coming up in 3 weeks, right? And I think that game, whoever wins that singular game, will go to the college football playoff. You have Virginia Tech, Syracuse, Duke, Wake Forest, Pitt, Miami, North Alabama, and Florida. It's an easy schedule. But it also has the criteria. It also has the criteria against the top 5 LSU team, against a Clemson team that if they run the table, they'll probably be around 6 or 7, expecting some dominoes to fall. Right? So even though it's a cupcake back half of the schedule, if they beat Clemson, you have wins over a good Clemson team, and at the time, a really good LSU team. And I think that's enough to make it into the playoff. And I think Florida State, I predicted them earlier in the season to make the college football playoff. I had them as the 3 seed, I believe. I had Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, USC in the college football playoff. I'm probably going to stick with that. It's looking good so far. Florida State played a great football game. Defensively, they were great. Mike Norvell played an amazing game offensively as well, and he coached an amazing game. And I think that was the key to getting a win here today, or yesterday, or whenever it was. It was really a special second half performance for the LSU, or for the Florida Gators, Florida State Seminoles. And they were able to pull out the win. But the biggest story of the weekend, and the biggest story of the offseason, if not for college football realignment, how about Colorado, those Buffaloes? Those Colorado Buffs. What an opening day. That game was such a hyped game. It got everybody watching. Coming in, it was expected. TCU was 21-point favorites. The defending runners-up in the national title last year. And I said before, I don't think TCU is going to be a good football team. I have them at a 5-7, 6-6, 7-5 ranking. In those 3 windows, they've lost so much. Duggan, Quentin Johnston. They bring in Trey Sanders from Alabama. They've lost so much, and Sonny Dykes is a great head coach, but they returned 18% of their roster. Can't do that and compete for another Big 10 or Big 12 title. But Colorado, Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, their running back Edwards, FCS players. This is Jackson State's football team, essentially, right, with some big-time transfers. The culture that Deion Sanders has, it's the only team in the country where I can say confidently every single player on that team is 100% bought in. To the last guy on the bench, every single player is bought into the program. And when you can do that at a team that last year went 1-11, and you can just, boom, tear it apart, revamp it, and start off your season against the team that ranked in the top 20 on the road, where Shedeur Sanders throws for 510 yards, where Travis Hunter plays both sides of the football, got an interception, caught a touchdown. He was special. What it will do, I can't wait, first off, for Nebraska, Colorado coming up this weekend. That place is going to be packed in Boulder. It will probably be the most anticipated home game in Colorado Buffalo's history. It's a shock to say. It really is. It's a shock to say. But I do believe it will be the most anticipated game in Colorado Buffalo's history. Is it the biggest game? No. But these are 2 old rivals playing again. And the performance that Deion Sanders had, the instant turn of events to instantly Colorado's a top 5 most watched team in college football. Instantly, this team has the most hype in the country. Instantly. You say it can't happen overnight. It quite literally did when Deion Sanders came to that team. It quite literally happened overnight. And Colorado, I still don't know if they're going to be a good football team. We don't know. We don't know if they're going to be a good football team. Okay? But I can say this, they're going to be a fun football team to watch. They're going to be a very, very fun football team to watch. So I do want to say this. We don't know the ratings coming out yet. We don't know if Colorado and TCU will be the most watched game in the country. It might. I don't know if it'll be better than a night game, right? Between Florida State and LSU, or the North-South Carolina game. But that game was something else. If you're just a college football fan, you can't wait to watch that one. Ohio State, Devin Brown, Kyle McCord were battling it out. They didn't look too good. Jaden Milroe and Alabama were fine. Drake May looked really good against South Carolina. Same thing with Drew Allar. It's interesting because Ohio State's been such a quarterback factory. You go from Cardale Jones to J.T. Barrett to Dwayne Haskins to Justin Fields to C.J. Stroud. And now you kind of hit a roadblock. You kind of hit a roadblock with Kyle McCord and Devin Brown. None of them are great. And Penn State or Michigan, for the first time in a while, might have the best quarterback in the Big Ten. I'm interested to see, what the public consensus is. J.J. McCarthy or Drew Allar. I would say J.J. McCarthy's better just because I've seen more of him. But Drew Allar looked great. He looked fantastic in the win against West Virginia. The escapability, the throw on the run, it's such an upgrade over Sean Clifford. It's such a breath of fresh air for that team. And I think Penn State's a team that could beat Ohio State. I don't know about Michigan, but they could definitely beat Ohio State. Washington. This is a Washington team that I think Michael Penix could very well win the Heisman Trophy. Michael Penix could very well win the Heisman Trophy. They could definitely make the college football playoff. And Michael Penix can ascend himself, call me crazy, into a Joe Burrow tier in terms of he's projected as a higher pick. Nobody's that excited about him. He can have an amazing season and project himself into a Joe Burrow tier. Could win the Heisman Trophy. It's only week 1, I understand. But they put up 56 on Boise State. And they dominated Boise State in that second half. 5 touchdowns, 450 yards for Michael Penix. He's going to be special. That Pac-12 is not even close in terms of they have the best quarterbacks in the country. Caleb Williams, Michael Penix, DJ Uiagalelei looked good against San Jose State. Cam Rising, right? They have so many talented quarterbacks. Bo Nix. It's gonna be fun to watch the Pac-12. So that was our college football picks, our college football segment. We have so much to talk about in the NFL, so I think we should get right into it. My NFL playoff bracket, my official bracket for the season. The full 7 teams in the AFC, the full 7 teams in the NFC. Let's get right into it. Let's start off as the number 1 seed. Call me crazy. No. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. I have the Chiefs going 14-3. I have them being the number 1 seed in the AFC. I think they won't have much trouble getting started. Mahomes doesn't lose in September. He just doesn't. And this is a Chiefs team that, without Chris Jones, might struggle early. But I don't think it's enough to struggle to get them out of the race, right? I think they start off their season pretty damn hot, right? If you look at their opening schedule, Lions, Jags, Bears. It's a tough start. It is a very tough start, but I do think they win the AFC once again. They get the number 1 seed. They get a bye. The 2-seeded New York Football Jets. Yes, the New York Jets are going to go 12-5. They're going to be the 2 seed in the AFC. They are going to be a team that is going to boast the best defense in the NFL by far. I would say that the approvability, if you want to call that a word, is insane for this Jets team. Sauce Gardner, rookie last year. He's the best corner in the NFL. Garrett Wilson, rookie last year, played with Mike White, Zach Wilson. He's got an upgrade with Aaron Rodgers. He's going to get better. Jermaine Johnson on that defense. Quinnen Williams. Okay. And, by the way, they bring in Aaron Rodgers. They bring in Aaron freaking Rodgers. Okay? He's a bad man. And I think the spotlight of the New York Jets, they go 12-5, and they go 2 seed in the AFC. 3 seed in the AFC, also going 12-5, the Cincinnati Bengals. I do think they start out the season with a loss to the Browns. We'll get into that picks coming up. And every single week we do these podcasts, we're going to predict every single NFL game. And I'm going to go look back on it, see our record a week previous, and we'll kind of keep it going as we continue to do our NFL picks. So Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be my 4 seed, 10-7. I think this Jags team is a little overrated. I do think it's a little overrated of a football team. I do think this is a team that's going to struggle against some of the weaker teams in the division. For example, the Colts, Texans, and Titans, of course. I could see them going 3-3 in the division, which, if people are predicting the Jags to have a great record, it's because of the weak division. But I don't think they sweep any of those teams in the division, right? Indianapolis, I think, could beat them, along with the Texans and the Titans. So the Jags going 10-7, I think they're the de facto champions, just like the Saints coming up in the NFC South. There's just not much. There's just not much else on the football team to have them compete, I think. So let's get into wild cards. So we have Chiefs, Jets, Bengals, Jags as my division winners. Those are my 4 division winners. As now we get in to the wild card picks. And at the 5 seed in the wild card race, I have the Miami Dolphins going 11-6 in the wild card race. This is a good Miami team. I don't think it's a great Miami team, but it's a Miami team that is going to be explosive on offense. When Tua Tagovailoa played, they were explosive. And I'm always a guy that I really can't build injuries into a season, right? I can't predict injuries. So I'm just going to go with the assumption that Tua stays healthy all 17 games. It might not happen, but I always say there's never really been a player in NFL history, maybe a few of them, that there's a higher chance they get injured than not, right? Michael Thomas, Rashad Penny. But it's usually, injuries are a freak thing. It's not like a player is just drawn to injuries, right? It's not like a player has it in his genetics that he gets hurt. It just kind of happens. And, I'm not going to predict injuries in this sense. So I have the Miami Dolphins as the 5 seed. Jalen Waddle, I think I've said it before, he's going to lead the league in receiving yards. And that 1-2 punch at receiver, a defense that has improved, Jalen Ramsey coming in later, I have the Miami Dolphins as the 5 seed at 11-6. The 6 seed at 10-7, a struggle of a season for this team. They have a tough schedule. It's the Buffalo Bills. The 6 seed, a very tough schedule. It's a team in Buffalo that I think has kind of been good but not great. Good but not great over the last few years. They've been a team that has always been the Super Bowl contender, like the hot team. Every year we say, oh, Chiefs aren't going to win. It's Buffalo's year. It's Buffalo's year. But still, every single year they disappoint. And I think this is the season where They continue to disappoint. It's a very tough schedule. Of course, inside the division, Jets, Dolphins, Pats. Tough schedule there. Okay? Inside the division. On the outskirts, you play the Jags, you play the Chargers, you play the Cowboys, you play the Chiefs. It's overall a very, very tough schedule. And I think they're going to be a team that is, because of their schedule, a 10-7 team, not because of their talent, a 10-7 team. So that's my take on the Buffalo Bills. In the final 7 seed, we have the Browns, we have the Chargers, we have the Ravens, we have other teams like the Titans, maybe. No. My 7th seed is going to be the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, J.K. Dobbins, Odell Beckham Jr. And this Ravens team gets the 7th seed. That means no Chargers. No Chargers make the playoffs. No Browns. No Broncos. No Raiders. No Patriots. The AFC's really freaking good. Really freaking good. That I think there's no Steelers. There's about 10 teams. 10 teams that deserve to make the playoffs in the AFC. And I think that speaks volumes to how good the AFC is. Speaking on another conference so let's hold up here. While we're on the AFC, I'm not going to go through the entire NFC predictions, get you lost, and then, okay, remember the AFC. You're not going to remember, right? So let's go to the AFC. Let's predict these matchups. Jets-Ravens in the first round. I think the Jets win. Bengals-Bills in the first round. I think the Bengals win. Jags-Dolphins in the first round. I think the Dolphins win. So we're set up Chiefs-Dolphins divisional round. We're set up Bengals-Jets divisional round. I think the Chiefs beat the Dolphins. And I think the Jets beat the Bengals. So we're set up Chiefs-Jets AFC Championship game at Arrowhead Stadium. You know what? I might just. Give me the Jets, Jets, to go to Las Vegas to play for the Super Bowl. Let that sink in, folks. The Jets, after being the worst franchise in the NFL for the last decade, first season, Aaron Rodgers pulls a Tom Brady, pulls a Matt Stafford. In his first season with the ball club, he takes him to the damn Super Bowl. Jets to the bowl. Let's move on to the NFC. NFC predictions. NFC. So, NFC, the 1 seed this year. This is going to get a lot of hate. A lot of hate here. The Dallas Cowboys. We the 1 seed in the NFC. The Dallas Cowboys, America's team, will be the number 1 seed in the NFC going 13-4. They will win the division. There has not been a repeat division winner in the NFC East. That's not because I'm picking that's not why I'm picking the Cowboys. But the Dallas Cowboys will go 13-4 and win the division. Dak Prescott has set up with an amazing defense to play with. CeeDee Lamb, Gallup, Brandon Cooks, Tony Pollard, better rushing attack. O-line's getting better. And a defense that it's them and the Jets, I think, for the best defense in the NFL. Cowboys win the conference at 13-4. 49ers go 12-5 and get the 2 seed. I think that's a respectable season for the Niners. I think the quarterback cost them a few games, but I think they go 12-5. They get the 2 seed. The 3 seed is going to be the Minnesota Vikings. They have gotten a lot of crap. I think they're going to go 10-7 and get the 3 seed. They've gotten a lot of crap over the offseason. People think they're going to win 6-7 games. They're going to throw the ball like no other. I think this year Kirk Cousins might throw for 5,000 yards. Justin Jefferson, KJ Osborne, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson has a case for the best receiving core in the NFL. Justin Jefferson will get 2,000 yards this year, become the first player ever to do so. He will have, I think, the greatest receiving season of all time. And the Vikings get 3 seed at 10 and 7. 4 seed New Orleans Saints. Again, a de facto division winner, right? They're the division winner because nobody else is, right? Until, somebody else comes and takes it, or shows me, I got to go Saints. The 5 seed, a really good 5 seed is going to be the Seattle Seahawks, also at 12 and 5. I think the Seahawks team is going to be very, very good this year, and I have them going 12 and 5. Going 11 and 6 is the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, I have the Eagles as the 6th seed in the NFC. The 6th seed in the NFC. That's my hottest probably take of this all, is the Eagles are the 6th seed in the NFC after an amazing season a year ago. Now there's one team left. Who could you think of? You could think of maybe the Rams. Put the Rams in there. Could be the Bears, the Packers, the Lions. Maybe the Falcons get a string. Commanders, Giants. My 7th seed will be the Detroit Lions. Going 10 and 7. Getting the 7th seed in the NFC. So in my NFC, I have Cowboys, Niners, Vikings, Saints winning the division. And then the wild card will be Seahawks, Eagles, Lions. So let's go right through it. Niners, Lions in the playoffs. I have the Niners. Vikings, Eagles, I have the Eagles. Saints, Seahawks, I have the Seahawks. So in the playoffs, in the divisional round, Cowboys, Eagles, 49ers, Seahawks. I have the Dallas Cowboys beating the Philadelphia Eagles to go to the NFC Championship game. To go to the NFC Championship game, the Dallas Cowboys. And I have the Seattle Seahawks walking in to Levi Stadium and beating the San Francisco 49ers to send Geno Smith to the NFC Championship game against Dak Prescott. The Dallas Cowboys versus the Seattle Seahawks in the NFC Championship game. The Dallas Cowboys go to the Super Bowl. The Dallas Cowboys go to the Super Bowl to take on the New York Jets. And in that game, Dak Prescott throws for a bunch of yards. Tony Pollard runs all over the Jets' defense. CeeDee Lamb catches a pair of touchdowns. The defense wreaks havoc. But Aaron Rodgers wins the game. And the New York Jets, the hype of the offseason, the pinnacle of it is them winning the Super Bowl over the Dallas Cowboys in February in Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. The New York Jets over the Dallas Cowboys. This is not a prediction. This is the truth. I'm telling you what's happening. This is not a prediction. I'm telling you what's going to happen. Jets over Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Let's move on to award predictions. Award predictions. The NFL's MVP. It's been a long time. It's been a, I think, long time coming for this guy. I think his offense is going to excel. It's finally his year. It's Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow will win MVP this year and cement himself as a kind of question if it's Mahomes or is it Burrow. It'll be a big-time debate come next season. The Offensive Player of the Year will be Jalen Waddle. I think he will have an electric season. I think he might get 2,000 yards also. Call me crazy. He will be better than Tyreek Hill this year. Better than the Cheetah. Jalen Waddle, Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year, and I think he's the favorite, right? I think. Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons. Maybe Patrick Mahomes, maybe Justin Jefferson, maybe Jason Kelsey, Aaron Donald also. He's in that category of he could be the best player of all time at his position. It sounds crazy. Right? It sounds crazy because Lawrence Taylor is that guy, right? But early into Micah Parsons' season, he could win 4 Defensive Player of the Years, 5. He's that freaking good, and I think it starts this year. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Look, I've been a lot of parody so far. I'm going Bijan Robinson, right? I'm not going to go too far out there. I've already gone bold with Jets over Cowboys in the Super Bowl. I will say Bijan Robinson wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Give me Christian Gonzalez for the New England Patriots. I thought he was better than Devin Witherspoon coming out of the draft. Was locked down at Oregon. I think he gets a few picks. I think he's lights out. He's not Sauce Gardner level, but he's going to be pretty solid. He'll win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year. DeMar Hamlin. All he's got to do is step out on a damn field. That's all he's got to do. All he's got to do is step out on the field in these freaking defensive or comeback Player of the Year. Coach of the Year. The Coach of the Year will be Robert Saleh. Because I think the Jets go 2 seed, win 12 games. Robert Saleh is Coach of the Year. That is my awards. That's my official season predictions for this NFL season. If you're just joining us, or if you're skimming around, the Jets will beat the Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow will win MVP. Jalen Waddle will win Offensive Player of the Year. Micah Parsons will win Defensive Player of the Year. Bijan Robinson will win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Christian Gonzalez will win Defensive Rookie of the Year. DeMar Hamlin will be your Comeback Player of the Year. Robert Saleh will be Coach of the Year. Enjoy some football this week. That was Talking About Balls. We will see you next week to talk about Week 1.